Hey guys, welcome to another video review. This one is the First4Figures Soulcalibur Taki exclusive statue. For those of you not in the know, Soulcalibur is a very popular fighting game. It's been around for a long time. The first version, Soulcalibur 1, sort of put the Dreamcast on the map. Its graphics were unprecedented at the time. Still looks pretty good even today, over 10 years later. Gameplay was really fun, fast-paced. It was like the early, kind of beginnings of, environmental interactivity. You're able to move all around the stages, almost in 3D. So it was really fun, and it had a very large cast of memorable characters with unique art design. And there were many sequels to the original fighting game. And I remember playing it with my roommate for many hours on the Dreamcast when the first Soulcalibur came out. So First4Figures is a company that specializes in video game licenses, and they recently acquired the license for Soulcalibur 2, I believe, Soulcalibur 2. And the first in the line is actually Nightmare, which I have, but I'm doing the review for Taki first. This is the art design again from Soulcalibur 2, not the original Soulcalibur. A couple of things. Taki is the female ninja from the game, and her specialty is speed, very quick movements, long combos, and used correctly, she's very deadly. The nice thing about Soulcalibur is used correctly, almost all of the characters are really good, so it's very nicely balanced. But Taki was one of the better ones in my opinion. And she certainly has a very distinctive look, which, again, can be a little bit off-putting if you don't know the history behind the character and the art design. Let's take a look at her. So this is the exclusive version, which means that the exclusive version comes with this particular base. The non-exclusive or regular version has her just on a simple black base. If you can just imagine a base kind of like this, Lazy Susan, that's what she has. And I always buy exclusives if I can. I bought the exclusive for Nightmare, so I bought the exclusive for Taki. If we look at the base, you can kind of see some of the detail work here. It's kind of like a little maze. It gives you a very kind of Asian influence. It feels like the petal of a flower sort of spreading out. She has a very long metal peg, and that's the only thing that's holding her to the base. It's very solid. It seems to be very secure. Here's the back of it. You can kind of see the weathered copper sort of tone or patina. This actually moves a little bit here, which is fine. To be honest, I have no idea what this is. Are they plants or tentacles? It looks like maybe, if this is a flower, those are the rose petals, maybe these are the leaves. It's an okay base. I like it. Although, in my opinion, it seems a little bit large and ungainly. I would have really preferred the exclusive be something else that's not this gigantic base. I actually prefer the regular version where they just have her on a very simple black, black base. Nightmare also is on a very ornate, large, heavy base. But for him, it's a bit more appropriate just because he's such a huge character. But for Taki, who's more of like this slim ninja character, I would have preferred maybe a little bit less low profile base. And for the exclusive, it might have been nice to maybe give her another sword, or maybe even a masked head or something like that. Although you have to be careful, because obviously if you make the exclusive too good, you give the exclusive something that's too important, then the piece becomes an exclusive or fail, and then the regular version basically loses its luster and suffers. So it is sort of a tricky thing for, obviously First4Figures to get correct. So as it turns out, the exclusive is the base, which I've already kind of have mixed feelings about. Now, in terms of the statue itself, let me first zoom in. She does have a wonderful detail. Here's the little pattern on her left thigh. She's wearing obviously sandals, and just one leg. There is some concern over time. Is she going to lean? Is there going to be an issue with leaning? Hopefully they engineered it enough. It doesn't seem like that. It will be a problem because it looks like the resin's pretty solid and there's a very large rod stuck in there to prevent any problems from that. And she slots in very nicely. So she's obviously her classic red costume. It's like a bodysuit, skin tight. Here is her some detail work, some close-ups on the blade. It's not metal, unfortunately. Here we go here. Some close-ups on her body. So again, one leg is lifted. Let's take a look here. Right there. Here's the other foot. So kind of leaning back, just kind of letting her spin around. You can sort of see the action pose. Okay. This is the back. So she has, of course, the double swords. One is sheathed, the other one is unsheathed. Take a look there. Her hair. This is a close-up of her face. Again, close-up of her armor. Her chest. The shoulder armor. You see her muscular definition. Legs. Okay. I'll do another few minutes of flash later on. So that's Taki in a nutshell. So let's talk about sort of the good and the bad and some other aspects of her. So in terms of the good, I think this is a very clean statue, very clean character. It's pretty simple. There's not a lot going on. You'll see with Nightmare, it's almost overwhelming in all of the little tiny details and stuff. It can come off as being a little bit busy. But with Taki, it's very pretty in its simplicity. The pose is really nice. I really like the pose. It's very kind of agile. She's suspended on one leg. The other one is folded up. It really is a very nice action pose. It looks like she's just landing or she's about to take off. The arm on the left and of course the sword on the right. It just looks really natural. So I've talked before again of the challenge and the difficulty of showing statues in movement and making it look natural and making it flow correctly. And I think the pose for Taki is beautifully done. So that's definitely a big win. I like the detailing on the armor. The weathering there is really nice. The paintwork is very good. I like the scabbards on the back. I like the blade right over here. Those are all very good. I love the fact that her body is extremely muscular. Hopefully from this angle you can see all of the anatomy that's just sort of bulging out, and it's actually, in my opinion, anatomically correct. You can see the leg muscles, the quads, and the hamstrings. Definitely see the rectus abdomini here, all of that. So this is very good. If you zoom in very close, you can sort of see the texturing of the suit, which means that's very likely a digital sculpture and then printed out, because again, that level of detail you don't usually see with hand sculpted stuff. And it'll show up better in Flash. So, they did a great job basically showing her body. And this leads to a bit of a controversial topic, which is the question of whether the statue is essentially over-sexualized. She does have very large breasts. She has a cat suit that essentially leaves almost nothing to the imagination. And if you look at, her buttocks, it really, when you collect, female statues or you buy female superheroes, they're going to be slightly exaggerated to begin with, with the proportions and that type of thing. It stems from the source material, essentially. But with this statue, it really looks like, the bodysuit is almost spray painted on when you look at, her behind like this. It is a little bit controversial about whether First4Figures went a little bit overboard with it. And my thoughts are, if there's any doubt about First4Figures sort of hiding or not, or being afraid of sort of, appropriately sculpting Taki's attributes, so to speak, this statue puts all of that to rest. They did not back off at all from the female anatomy, and they did a magnificent job. I don't think she's, too exaggerated in the sense that they didn't just give her this, ridiculous over-the-top body, at least when you compare it to the source material from the video game. And they made this body extremely sort of athletic. She's toned, she's muscular. So, she definitely looks like a body of someone who's like a fighter, who's a ninja. You can buy that. But there is, again, there's no denying that there is a sexual component to the way they depict, her chest and her behind. And that is, unfortunately, exactly what the video game sort of has, from Soulcalibur 2. This is accurate to the video game and attempts to, make her breasts smaller or to sort of hide her, posterior anatomy, which some companies like Sideshow has done in the past to pretty notorious effect with, for instance, their Rogue premium format statue. The fans would then have an outcry because it wasn't accurate. So it is something kind of to take into account when you're buying this, is that this is sort of part of the character. Nightmare has its own characteristics. Now Maxie is the Elvis impersonator with the nunchucks. There are other characters like Sophia, who's more classic. She's like the Roman goddess type look. But Taki is the sultry ninja in a skin-tight bodysuit. And I do respect First4Figures for not shying away from that. For good or for ill, even if it hurts their sales, they went ahead and they went for it. And they did a masterful job doing it. I don't think that it's exploitative. I don't think they're trying to exploit the female body. It's not overly, suggestive or sexualized. She's not in, a sexual pose. It's just sort of what the character is. So just wanted to sort of address that head on. I do feel like, the sculpture of the body is beautiful, not just for the female anatomical components, but again, just for the muscular definition. Obviously, the person who did this, I think, did their homework when it came to, muscular female anatomy, because they really nailed that part. Okay. The face is a little bit odd. If I go really close, it does have a certain, I don't know how to quite describe it. It has a little bit of a certain waxy look, a waxy complexion. It's beautiful as far as it goes. It's pretty. There's nothing horribly wrong with it or bad about it. But compared to the flesh tones of the arms and the side, it just looks a little bit more waxy, glistening, almost like there's a sheen of sweat on her. I don't know whether they were trying to go for a translucent to resin look. Sometimes, the factories cast in translucent resin to try to give you more of a skin or flesh type effect, but those have to be painted a very specific way, and it doesn't look like they did it in this fashion. So as far as that goes, I do have to mention that the face does look a little bit waxy and a little bit glistening, and I'm not pleased with that particularly. It comes with its special exclusive edition card. I've already registered this one, so it's very nice. So there we have it. In terms of the packaging, very, very nice, very well done. Unfortunately for me, both scabbards did come in pieces. I had to glue them together, and I have a claim with First4Figures to have them replaced. It shouldn't be a big deal. They're magnetized, and it comes apart like this. I think if you look very, very closely, you can see the line right here where I had to glue it together. You can clearly see there's a little bit of a crack right in this area here. You can see the crack again right here. So I'm going to have to, I think, re-break it to provide them proof of it, because they wanted me for some reason to take a picture of the card next to the pieces. But I wanted to do the review for you guys before waiting for this. So I glued it first. So in any case, it did come in pieces. And so you really shouldn't, because it's not a very difficult piece to package, but you can't predict. And this one's also snapped in half. So hopefully these are two very small minor things that will be replaced rather easily. Overall, I think the statue is very, very good. If you can have only one Taki statue, then I think this is it. It has a beautiful pose, very, very, accurate anatomy. Again, they do not shy away from her inherent sexuality and the way she's portrayed in the video game. Great detail for the armor, wonderful pose. The face is nice, just a little bit, again, waxy and shiny in appearance. And the base, very, very big. So if I had to make an improvement on her, I would say, have the face paint be a little bit more flat, and then maybe just a smaller base. As with the regular, make the exclusive maybe another sword on one hand. But as far as it goes, this is still an amazing statue, and it captures sort of the favorite aspects of Taki perfectly. So overall, very happy with it, and I'm happy with having her here and having her with Nightmare. She's the second in the series. Nightmare is the first, and with this amount of work that they did to bring Taki to life, I now have no worry about how they're going to treat Ivy, for instance, who's the other female in the line with some pretty risque armor, risque costume. And I think, maybe some people might have been a little bit concerned if First4Figures was going to go weak on her. Well, if you look at Taki, I think that there is no doubt that they're going to do Ivy justice if she is going to be the next in line. But this series is so amazing in the characters. You can't go wrong with any of them, except Vodo. For the love of God, First4Figures, don't do Vodo. That would be impossible to explain to anybody who is not a Soulcalibur fan what Vodo is doing on a shelf. But aside from Vodo, everything is so amazing. From, again, Maxi, who's the Elvis impersonator with nunchucks, Cervantes, the pirate. You have Mitsurugi, who is the samurai. And then you have Killik with the bow staff. And of course, Sophisha, the Greek, goddess or hero with the shield and sword. There's so many beautiful, striking designs that any of them would be a winner. Let's not forget Siegfried, who is the version of Nightmare before becoming corrupted. So the entire roster for Soulcalibur 2 is just chock full of just beautiful, gorgeous designs. And, I hope that they have the opportunity to bring a whole lot of them to life. There's definitely I think a niche in the marketplace for that. And it's, in my opinion, one of the best fighting series, one of the best looking characters. And I think First4Figures has stepped up to a really, really good start with Nightmare and Taki. And I hope they keep it up with, hopefully Ivy next. And some of the more well-known characters. So I'm going to be doing a little flash to see some of the detail and look her over. So this is with flash on, obviously. Let's spin her around again so you can see what she looks like with the light bouncing off the black background. So here we go. This is what the base looks like. Here's her feet. Hopefully you can appreciate some of the detailing there. Then coming on up. And now I think under flash magnification over the light, you can see the texturing of her suit. Again, you can clearly see the break now under flash. I think there's no question that there's a break there that I glued together for the purposes of this review. Again, you can see the texturing. The muscular definition of the legs. And then the face. And I think under flash, you can definitely see the shininess of that face. Versus the arm here. This is Taki quarter scale from Soulcalibur 2 exclusive, produced by First4Figures. Hope you enjoyed that, and until next time, take care.